Greetings, everybody. Welcome to another episode of the Carbines and Cantrips Book Club. Tonight we have, I should probably go in order of the chapters. I believe it's Akumomo is chapter 5, I think. And that's written by J.C. Chambers III. And after that, which is the next chapter, is Queen of the Fae by Kay Anders. Or you might not guess this from his first initial, but his name's Shell. Yeah, very, very Viking name. You can see we got some of Cedar Sandison. Oh, I'm trying to point like you can see me pointing my screen. Cedar Sandison did the artwork for their stories. On the far left there is the Akumomo art, and then to the right of that is the Queen of the Fae art. So, dude, she does such killer artwork for you guys' stories. Does she just like read your story and then come up with art, or do you guys like kind of, give her some tips?
She just does it. She does it. I've had a couple of stories where she did art for mine, and they're awesome. They're both awesome. The artwork in Pogue 1 for mine was like so cool.
Yeah, she's killer, man. We were saying, I think the last time we were doing a Raconteur Press and the Weird Warfare, we're like, they need to make these posters so people can scoop them up.
Ooh, yeah, that would be fun to be able to sell these as prints at cons and stuff.
Yeah, dude, they're so cool.
Yeah.
Oh, hello, Mallory in the chat.
I'd like to have a poster of this Mercs and Mayhem cover coming out, though. I'd put that up in my gym, just on the wall.
Yeah, that looks really cool. Well, I guess who's up first? Am I saying it right? Akumomo. If I'm saying it wrong.
You can say it however you want. I say it Akumomo, which is closer to how a Japanese person would say it, but my wife would probably be like, JC, you're saying it like a gaijin again. I'm like, mind you, she's whiter than I am, but she minored in Japanese, so.
Gotcha. I took Japanese in high school, and that was about it. But yeah, dude. Can you explain a little bit about the because based on a fairy tale that basically the whole anthology it's glitch Grimm, so it's fairy tales with like a dark twist. So what's the normal fairy tale, I guess, before we go into the story?
Well, my normal fairy tale it's a pretty common story throughout Japanese history. Called Momotaro, and there's a lot of variations on it over the years. It's actually really big in the popular culture. In fact, I was flipping through Crunchyroll the other day, and I literally just saw an anime about a war between the Momotaro people and the Oni, both of whom feature prominently in this story. So it's yet another retelling, and it's a fertility tale about there's really two main versions of the tale, but the one that's most well known is a peach is floating down the river, and an old couple recover the peach from the river, and a little boy sprouts from the peach, and his name is Momotaro, and he there's a lot of stories around him, but he makes friends with a monkey, with a bird, and with a
dog.
A dog, thank you. And goes on adventures and conquers a castle of Oni. All right, and so that's like the core gist of it. And but there's another version of the story where instead of the boy sprouting from the peach, this couple finds this peach, and it's this beautiful big peach, and they eat it. And then this old barren woman, she conceives a child. Oftentimes they become younger, depends on the version of the tale, but they conceive a child. They have a child. And so, yeah, that's the base story. And there's a lot of variations on it out there going back hundreds of years.
Yeah, I definitely like the twist. I'll just say that opening. I was like, "Holy shit, dude! What is going on?" It was dark, dude. Yeah. I've never been that hungry.
Yeah, spoiler alert, everybody. We're talking about
spoilers.
The stories in full. Yeah.
Yeah. So, fertility is a really weird theme to mess with. As we've learned from a lot of modern film media, they've learned that they can get a lot of mileage out of, messing with the idea of, motherhood and babies and stuff like that. And if you're going to do a story like Momotaro, you're going to be exploring concepts that are basically fertility, motherhood, having babies, and if you're going to twist those things, you're going to come out with some really messed up stuff.
Yeah. It was very messed up. So she, for those who don't know, this starving lady, it's like, it's feudal Japan, it's war torn. This lady sounds like she's hungry, starving because there's a war going on, and probably supply chains aren't doing great. So she sees this peach going down on the river, and she goes and eats it, or takes a bite, and then she sees like a little baby inside it, and she just goes ham on this baby, like rips its arm off. It's gushing bones and flesh and blood and juice and rotten peach juice in her. Oh my god. Brutal, yeah, but the baby gets eaten,
and that's the opening.
Yeah,
that in some ways might be the most brutal part of the whole story, is the fact that he just looked at this little kid in the peach and like didn't even blink and was just like, oh yeah,
nom nom
extra
nom.
protein. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Oh, sweet, extra protein.
Yeah, his throne afterwards, that was like some Bloodborne action, dude. Just like that. What is that one boss? It's like the Orphan of Kost or whatever. I don't know if you guys
I can't name any of the Bloodborne bosses. I've played it. I've watched other people play it. I can't remember the name of a single boss.
I think it's a DLC boss. So if you just played the regular game,
then I definitely don't know it.
Yeah.
But
I will say, how do you say his name? What's the protagonist? Like you have to say it for me. Your priest?
I'm sorry, say that again. It came through really robotic for me.
Oh, your priest's name? What's his name? How do you pronounce it? The protagonist?
I'm going to refresh real quick and hope that fixes it.
I'll just... His name is Takahi.
Hey, there's the connect. Hey.
Is he gone? Oh, there he goes.
I think so.
Yeah. Oh, Jesse's typing. Yeah. Well, while we're waiting for him, what did you read? What you read? Tyler, I forgot what you said. The kaiju.
Yeah, the gingerbread one. The Gingerbread Massacre. All right. What a tone setter, because that's like the first story in the book. And holy shit, talk about dark. So we've got this elderly witch who, and it reads like I wrote a note here on my Silicon palette. Because, yes, I took notes as I was listening to it because I had text-to-speech on. It has a cadence where it's written like it almost should be like sung, or you feel like it should rhyme, but it doesn't. It's got like this weird dissonance to it. But we'll put a pin in that and get back with
sorry about that,
Jesse.
guys. I don't know why Restream seems to hate me tonight, but yeah.
It always hates someone. It just happens to be you. It's me often.
And normally it's Jesse.
Yeah. Yeah, dude. I really liked I just read his name and I already forgot it. Takahi.
Takahi.
Takahi, yeah.
Yeah.
Like I said before we started, like totally reminded me of like I think Jubei is the name of the character from Ninja Scroll.
Mm-hmm.
Like his demeanor, he doesn't want to come across as like entitled or whatever. Like he's embezzling, like be a fat cat or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
But dude, when he fights that first Oni and the little prayer scroll and the Naruto hand signal, like, hell yeah, dude. Sets the Oni on fire.
Oh yeah.
The fight scenes were awesome.
Thank you.
I love that he had the like 7 of the soldiers decided to stay with him and go and fight, and they just immediately got like didn't do anything. Like I was like, oh cool, they're gonna he's gonna like bless their weapons and they're gonna be these cool badasses, and they just get completely smashed.
So yeah, I mean originally I wanted to do like a 7 samurai type thing, but ultimately that would have just made the story way too long. So I was like, you know what? it'll actually be more impactful if I do it this way, and so I took the route that I did. But
yeah, I mean, you definitely gave us enough like info at the first massacre to understand. Like, you didn't need to describe killing those 7 guys because, like, obviously the Oni like decimated the entire platoon or whatever they are. Yeah, I was digging it.
Thank you.
I feel like I'm hogging the mic. You got anything to add to it, Jesse?
I was blessed to get to beta read this one, and I agree 100%. The fight scenes were awesome, and it really there's this fun thing that happens when you're doing horror where like action and horror tie together, and then you just kind of can slide the balance scale. And that's what makes the difference between like sci-fi or action and a true horror tale. And I think JC found this cool spot where he took the slider over to the horror side just enough to make the scale tip. And I feel like that was a really cool spot to be in.
Yeah.
And
It's like,
yeah, it's cool. It's cool to see all the magic and stuff work.
Yeah, the magic was great, dude.
I mean,
Yeah.
it's like the difference
I
between
didn't
Alien
get
and
to play-
Aliens,
Yeah.
where it's like Alien is
Very
more
much
of a straight horror movie, versus Aliens is there's those horror elements, but it's like, all right, we got Marines, we're gonna shoot them up, we're gonna blow them up, we're gonna figure something out.
Yeah. Yeah, like Takahi is a total badass, like super badass, super capable guy. But like, well, one, just like the beginning kind of puts you in this like, oh my god, this is a terrifying world.
Yeah, what a tone setter.
Yeah. So yeah, I think you went morbid enough to justify the action, still making it be like a horror story. For sure. I bet Steve loved reading this one.
I think he did. Yeah.
I made a note of it because I was like, oh, this is a nice little nod. I'm assuming it's intentional. But he says to the regular soldiers, like, this enemy is beyond any of you. And I was like, oh, hell yeah, dude. Some Gandalf action.
Yeah. So like I recognized it when I wrote it, and I was like, okay, people are going to get this as a Gandalf reference, and you know what? That's okay. Like,
He was telling the truth.
Yeah, I don't think it hurts.
He wasn't wrong.
It didn't feel too distracting to me, and yeah, he wasn't wrong. These guys got smoked by the Oni immediately afterward. He wasn't lying, and Takahi's a fun character for me to write because he really is the perfect character for this type of story, because otherwise it really would be just too dark and too gruesome and too depressing. But his stalwartness is something I really wanted to make sure I got right, because it's what allowed this to be a heroic tale. If it were almost any other type of character, it really wouldn't work. So I was very happy with how he turned out.
Yeah, he's also like really good dude, you know, because one, he has this like conversation with the kid right out of the gate, but like the way after he kills all the lieutenants and all the Onis, and then the way it ends is like very like compassionate towards this little homicidal, genocidal, maniac, dude. Like, I was like, bro, don't hold him. Like, what do you do?
So. Something this is a theme for me in almost all of my stories is I don't like having children and teenagers, but especially children. I don't like having children just be evil. It feels weird to me. It feels off to me. So even if I want to have a story where like there's like an evil child thing, if I'm going to characterize it beyond like, it's just
someone got a TV on in the background.
I do.
If I'm going to characterize it beyond just like a basic mob, it's I'm very conscious of with how I portray children, because I don't think children are evil, even if it's a fictional story, and so that was an ending where I thought this would be better than him just like murdering the child, because it didn't sit right with me to just have that type of ending.
Yeah. Well, I think it like worked well. Like I don't know. Like I understand. Like I felt bad for the kid, obviously, because like he got ripped apart by the old lady ate him. And then like even like other than him, like the monkey, you know, and Takahi was the same way. He kind of felt like sorry that he had to kill this monkey, because like it sounded like he wasn't even like a spirit. You know, he's just like, I'm a monkey, and he offered me a deal because like the humans like, you know, killed my family, and it sounded like he was in a cage or something. So yeah, it's like all these. I didn't know about the dog and the bird, like what their story was, but I'm sure it's probably along similar lines. Like whatever their original story was is twisted to like they're not just evil for the sake of being evil. I'm sure there was some reason that they decided to get revenge or whatever.
Yeah, I mean,
Back on the.
oh, go ahead.
Go ahead.
I'm sure you have something better to say than I do.
Oh, I mean, 50-50 shots. Like sometimes I say the most inane things. Back on the sawdust thing with Esther. Back with the child. I'm glad that like you handled it the way you did, because the whole evil child thing is such an overdone trope, and it almost always comes off as like this very spiteful, like the writer's like, oh, nasty, disgusting, I'll never have them. And it's like, okay, we get it. But no,
Yeah.
Yeah, well,
it was handled well here. I appreciate that.
Thank you.
I'm done.
Yeah, the running theme of this. No. The running theme of the narrative is that they turned out wrong because the world around them was wrong. There was this terribleness in the world. The world was broken, and it was affecting the this spirit realm, this yokai realm, and so I didn't really get into Kiji or Saru, the monkey or the pheasant. But yeah, I probably would have given them a similar backstory to the monkey. Ultimately, it was Kiji or Inu, not Saru. Saru is the monkey. Inu is the dog. Because Saru was really the first antagonist who I introduced, he had so much more screen time. It felt appropriate to dive a little bit more into his backstory, and helped reinforce this the running narrative that Momotaro turned out this way because the world was really broken that way. But something I implied, I don't think I explicitly said it in the story, but it's something I implied and something I think is true, is that if his mom had chosen not to eat him, if his mom had chosen to still raise him, I think Momotaro would have turned out okay.
No, I just got to tell you, had his mom not chosen to eat him, like, okay, first of all, yes, but also, damn.
Hold up.
Things probably would have gone better.
So,
I mean,
but yeah,
not wrong.
Oh, go ahead.
No, I was just saying, yeah, you're not wrong. Things would have been better had his mom not done that.
Well, I think that, I do think that everyone in the story had a choice of what they were going to be to an extent. Except, Momotaro, again, he was a yokai, so that's where like the idea of his powers and loss of agency comes from. But he's also a child, so a lot of what he does and a lot of what he becomes is shaped by the decisions of the people around him. And I do think that if his mom had chosen in some way to go against her worst instincts to actually care for him, he would have actually been a blessing on the village and would have actually saved all of their lives.
Yeah. I mean, you definitely had that sweet ability to make that peach tree.
Yep.
The one he made obviously was one of the more metal trees I've come across. Dude, like the Onis, the theme with the Onis, like ladling blood across the roots. Chef's kiss, dude.
It's so damn cool.
Yeah. All the magic was so great. Like him, when he gets to the tree and like freezes the boy and then runs off and then uses like the 2 papers to like make the barrier in between the archway. And then Inu gets crushed by the Oni. Such a cool way to go. But,
Thank you. Yeah, that was fun. And I took obviously I took inspiration from anime. If you guys have watched anime, that's you see it all over the place. I think the first anime I ever watched that included that type of stuff was actually Sailor Moon, of all things, back when I was a kid. But it was based on a real life pseudo magical religious practice, because in most cultures, religion and magic are the same thing, which is why I kept referring to Takahi as a priest, but I also called it magic. And the actual, I think I named it, but if I didn't, it's called Onmyo magic. If you guys have played the Neo games, that's actually what they call the magic in Neo. Mm-hmm. And so I did a metric ton of research for that. I spent more time researching that than I did writing the story. But I wanted it to be authentic to the actual original practice. And admittedly, I took some creative liberties, but I had a lot of fun building off of that and creating these powers based on that, and then building the action around that.
Yeah, I haven't played Neo, but I watched my buddy play the crap out of it, and that was definitely on my mind while I was reading Akumomo. I was like, this reminds me a lot of that.
You said,
go ahead.
You said Sailor Moon and Neo, and suddenly I was like 6 again. So I was like, wow, that is 2 things that I've not heard in a long time.
So if you go back and watch the old Sailor Moon episodes, the Sailor Mars character Rei, she is she's like a shrine maiden. I want to say the word is Mako, but I feel like I'm remembering it wrong. I always have to look up my Japanese. My Japanese isn't nearly as good as my wife's is. But you'll remember in certain battles, she'll pull out these little paper tags that have writing on them and like stick them to enemies, and like they'll like catch on fire, or it's like, it harms them in some way. And that's literally that. Yeah. And back in ancient Japan, what they used to do is they used to have these paper tags, these ofuda, and they would write prayers on them, and they would use them to cast out like demons and spirits and stuff. There's a really famous story of a woman who was possessed by a fox spirit, and the Onmyo monk priest, he wrote a special prayer just for that, like that woman, and used the Onmyo Ofuda tag and used it to cast out the spirit.
Is that where they got the idea for Naruto?
Actually, yeah. So a lot of Naruto pulls from a lot of the same stuff that I had. So when when Takahi is sitting on the tree and doing his hand signs, mm-hmm. those are the same signs that Naruto uses. Yeah. Because they come from the Kujin hand mudras, which is a religious concept. It originates from like China and India. I don't know the full history of that, so just that general area, and eventually made its way to Japan through the Onmyo and Shinto and Buddhism and other religious practices. There's a lot of intermixing and intertwining, so it's hard to separate them. But yeah, so those hand signs that you see in Naruto have their basis in the same place that I got them for my story.
Yeah, I love that there was like the his tools, so his arrows and his paper prayer slips that he could, like, if he stuck it to you and he went like, I think it's fu, if he says fu, mm-hmm. It blows them up or sets them on fire, or if you do the two strips, it makes a barrier. But I like they had that, but like he wasn't like reliant, like he had other spells, like that he froze the kid, and then like, when it starts to rain, killing that bird with the freaking arrow, stabbing an arrow in its eye and then fooing its head off was righteous. But then the whole, like, I like the I don't know what the word I'm looking for is, the concept, the imagery of like him being glad that it started raining, and like, the cleansing of like what rain represents, I guess, and then him just going to town with his, like you were saying, his hand movements, and then the monkey comes up. Like I said, yeah, he had this feeling of kind of remorse, like he felt bad that he just was about to blast this monkey with a lightning bolt, which he did, and he was super badass about it.
That's what you get from monkeying around.
And then it was like a two birds, one stone thing, because he took out the monkey and he lit the tree on fire, which was like, I don't know, the boy's familiar or, tether to this realm, prevented him from being banished. So, yeah, effective move. Good spell.
Critical strike.
Yeah. I really like that he didn't actually fight the kid.
He uses lightning bolt. It's super effective.
Ah, yes, my weakness, type advantage. Yeah, I'm glad that first Japanese mythology and culture. Second, because I barely had any idea what's going on. So thank you for coming on explaining what the original myth that you twisted was, because I had no idea the lady who ate the kid in the peach was supposed to be his mom. I was just like, all right, the fuck, this lady's eating some kid in the peach. I guess this is where we're at. Look, man, if you read Hand of God, nothing throws me anymore.
Yeah. Yeah.
So true. It can't be Esther bad. It can't be bad.
Yeah, after watching Rebecca push her crippled daughter down a ramp toward a demon, it's like, I mean,
yeah.
Voluntarily.
Yeah.
Book where there's no antagonist, the setting is the antagonist.
Yeah. Everyone's just doing the best they can, right?
I just assumed that's where we were at.
Yeah. We're a couple years away from God just smiting the earth and splitting it in half, taking the moon away.
You misbehaved, no more moon.
Yeah. Well, you guys got anything else for Akumomo? Because I loved it. That was great.
Good job.
Thank you.
Yeah, well done.
Thank you.
Super
so
fun.
much, Dave.
Great.
Thank you.
All right. Well, next up is Shell's Queen of the Fae. Yeah, dude, this was a lot more like fairy tale styled. It was like less action, but I feel like what it
I don't know, man.
No.
Different kind of action.
Yeah,
I don't think we made it 4 paragraphs without someone dying. So.
Yeah. It's not like vividly violent and gory, but it's extremely like creepy and morbid. I was stressed out for the little girl Posey. I was super stressed out for her. I was like, oh my god, something bad's gonna happen to her. Granny's a psychopath. So if there's anyone watching that doesn't know, like myself, I'm not familiar with the fairy tale of Thumbelina. So if you could do a quick explanation of what the standard fairy tale is.
Sure. So the original fairy tale, there's this little tiny girl, and she's the size of a thumb, and she's being raised by her mom in this middle of nowhere kind of place, and her mom had made a deal with the witch and ended up having this little tiny child, and what happens is the child gets kidnapped by the toads, which sets her on this journey where she's repeatedly kidnapped and forcibly engaged to various animals, which she either escapes or is helped out of by other animals, until she finally meets this prince who she marries, and he gives her wings and renames her Maya. So I stayed very close to the original, only I had Thumbelina solving her own problems.
Yeah, that's I would say that's pretty close to it. Yeah.
As a serial killer.
Yeah. Well, I mean,
At least most of them had it coming.
Yeah. Have you guys read each other's stories?
I read JC's. I was one of the fortunate ones to beta read his. But yeah.
So I did read Shell's story. He asked me to beta read his. I did not get the chance to do so because I've been moving for like the past couple months. It's been a pain in the neck and life just destroyed me. But I finally did get to read it, and I wish I'd had the chance to read it in beta so I could say, "Oh yeah, I knew that was going to be a killer from the start."
I knew
But
this was going to be awesome.
Yeah. But in your defense, I gave it to you like 2 days beforehand. I'm like, hey, I decided to finish this. What do you think?
But no, I
This
really
is the
enjoyed
best
it. It was
beta
really
reads.
good. I agree. It was.
Yeah. Do you guys mess with poetry and like, do you either like reading or writing it a lot or like writing songs? Because that's like not something I really do.
I did do a lot of poetry when I was younger, like college age mainly. When I was in college, I did a lot of that kind of stuff. I never really wrote songs. I could never really get the pattern of writing songs down.
Yeah.
In my Thumbelina story, that song, I did write it, but it's, 6 lines long. It's not like a whole song.
Yeah. I like how there's a standard like the murder shot song that's like, okay, when I sing this, you're gonna go take a bath and not come back out. Gonna make me grow a couple inches. But then there's like the ones like she has songs about the people she killed, like the butterfly one. I love it, dude.
Yeah. The Maybug song, and then she sings the song about how she takes the butterfly's wings. Yeah.
The Maybug might be like the gnarliest one for me. Like the dude tries to help her out. His whole family gives her honey and takes care of her. He goes to sleep, wakes up, and she's like just wearing the flesh of his family. That was the gnarliest one, I think.
I really want the urban fantasy version of this, where garbage disposals have been invented. Because I feel like somebody would just be shoving people down the garbage disposal, like stomping on them down the garbage.
Our plumbing is hooked up to a well. The well is a pond.
But that's the image I got was that same like stomp when you're just like trying to get.
This is a good like cautionary tale for guys just getting into the military. Don't propose to the first girl you see just to get that BAH. Don't do it.
Yeah.
Okay, and like especially if she throws out she's got conditions beforehand. You need to
read those prenups, guys.
Yeah,
read the fine print.
No marriage proposals to the new stripper at the club.
Yeah. Like imagine like proposing to a girl and she's like, yeah, I got a couple of conditions. Like, whatever, that's fine, let's go. And then like you get married and then she like cuts your friend's arm off, dude. Like, you said I could do whatever I want. You said yes to my conditions blindly.
And we're getting married at the murder bond.
Yeah. I have to wonder, like, is she like connected to the pond? Because like seems like she's feeding the pond, like she's drowning people in it. Her song seems to be related to it, and then she grows as the pond eats it.
So initially, I just kind of was thinking it was like her own magic. And then what I did was I thought it'd be more effective if she had sort of this symbiotic relationship with the witch who used to live there. And the witch has become the what's the word? The will-o'-the-wisp. Yeah. And the will-o'-the-wisp is now in the pond. And so she kind of feeds the witch, and then the witch empowers her. But yeah, she has to bring them to the pond because she doesn't have like the ability to do much outside of the pond. So she uses the witch in the pond to do her dirty work, so to speak, and then the witch rewards her.
What was the how come she didn't kill Sparrow? Did she kill Sparrow and I just like brainholed it?
No, she didn't actually. I wanted her to have at least like some degree of redeeming quality. Like at least everyone else who died had either tried to force something on her or had been rude to her in some way.
Yeah. Except for Fly.
Sparrow is kind of the only one who just kind of took her as she was.
Yeah.
And part of the reason why Sparrow is there and fills that role is because I had just read Steve's little thing about how there has to be some lightness to create the dark or whatever. And I thought, oh, I better have a little bit of something in here that's redeeming quality or whatever to foil all the murders against. So I gave her that little bit of empathy and to fill that role essentially.
Yeah, I think now you kind of lay it out like that. I think I think you succeeded well with that. Yeah, like the light makes it more dark. Yeah, I like that. Man, I think what was it? Field mouse, Miss Mouse, whatever, farm mouse. I love when she's like, oh no, this is I need to turn around. But then like the way that she trapped her, she's like, well, you got no food and you're supposed to come with, Mr. Mole or whatever. That was a great little trap. And I love that like Mouse seemed to know that she was effed. She had just to go along with it.
Yeah.
Well, I like that the grandma who, was revealed to be Thumbelina, that she's like, no, those two killed themselves. I like, well, it's like, and to be fair, it's like, what is she supposed to do? Marry a mole who she doesn't want to marry, or okay,
yeah,
right, yeah. I kind of took that concept from something that I teach firearms self-defense classes, and I kind of took that from a thing people are afraid to use force when they are being tell them, I don't look at it like I'm using force. I'm just the force of nature. If they decide to try to impose their will on me through violence, what happens to them is their own fault. And I'm not really responsible for that at that point. I'm just defending myself. They brought that upon themselves. I'm not here to do them harm. And so I kind of took that and twisted it to fit that situation a little bit.
I mean, I think they definitely got themselves in that situation, especially the mouse. She was like kind of miserying. Can I verb that?
Yeah.
Her.
It really helped recontextualize the unreliable narrators at the very beginning, right? It's like, wait, Toad said that she was his fiance. Why is she killing him? Bird is trying to, give her the hookup up, get her with somebody. Why is she killing him? And then it's like, oh, wait, no, they were probably a lot like this mouse lady and mole, and were actually scumbags who got what was coming to them.
Yeah, and you don't know it because the story starts with Mother Toad already being dead. But yeah, Mother Toad kidnapped her out of her bed and brought her and be like, "You're marrying my son," right? That's how the original story goes. In my first write through, I actually had that in it, and then I cut it out.
There.
Nice. What was I going to say? You got anything to add, Jesse?
No, I enjoyed how I'm an action guy. I don't think that's a surprise to anybody by now, but I thoroughly enjoyed this one simply because it was a very much like a action and consequence kind of story. And on top of that, not to skip to the end or anything like that, but what wiped me out more than anything, like the like, hey, I want your buddy's wings, and I'm gonna go cut them off. Like, that was all brutal, but I come to expect that from the character by now. What I did not expect was for her to stand up after telling her like granddaughter or whoever good night, and be like 10 feet tall.
She's been very busy.
Oh, what the hell, lady? How many people did you stuff into the pond?
It's not a pond anymore. It's a swamp.
It's not even a swamp. It looks like China out here making new islands. Good God. It's the Monty Python thing at this point. Like, oh yeah, I would build a castle and sink into the swamp. Like, yeah, I took a body and sank in the swamp. So I took another body and that one sank in the swamp. But the 57th one, it stayed up. God, well, yeah, that wiped me out more than anything. Was when she stood up and like had her head in the rafters, and I was like, oh my god.
Yeah.
So did she
I got a good
did she
chuckle
murk
out of
her
it.
own daughter?
I mean, what do you think?
Well, because she mentions that her daughter isn't around. She's hanging out with her grandma, with her granddaughter. So I would assume that for some reason she killed her own child.
Yeah, actually, so it's probably easy to miss, but it says that she's a foster child somewhere.
Okay.
Yeah.
Shit.
So
So
she kidnapped
I was
him.
trying to
Oh,
set
dear.
up that she kept having like foster children, and then she's essentially preying on the foster children.
I was gonna say, is she like eating the children?
Yeah. So
Who's giving this woman
was the idea.
foster
But
What is-
when I first wrote it,
And their children.
I did intend her to be like the literal granddaughter. And that was the thing that I went back and changed when I came up with the ending. So I had an idea how it was going to end with the prince, but then I had to go back and finish the Maya Posey story. And so when I wrote the end of the Maya Posey story, which was a complete surprise to me, I went back and changed it so that she was a foster child, essentially, to give that impression that this wasn't the first time maybe that Maya had sung her foster child goodnight.
Yeah. Well, like it ends with Posey going Gramsci. Posey asked again, and then Maya answered with a song. So yeah, I mean she
You're just
killed her.
right. I left that deliberately vague, so like if you want to think that she just sang a regular song or she sang the death song,
Yeah. Well, it's a good thing. Like you like repeated the death song enough times where like it's implied pretty heavily, and it's great way. I like that you implied it rather than just singing the song. That was a nice touch. Kudos.
Thank you.
Yeah, I really like when she's killing Bird and like Butterfly shows up just in time to see like Bird go under. She's like, "Oh, he was drowning. I was trying to help him. Don't mind me getting this lasso ready." And then, like the whole roping him and then riding him around the pond on a leash. Oh, brutal. Yeah, and the king's fate also maybe the worst one because you're stuck in this little bottle for eternity. It sounds like.
Right.
Yeah.
Well, and he was one of the worst ones because in terms of, trying to impose himself on her, because he basically says, yeah, I get to command you. You're marrying me.
Yeah.
And so I felt like he kind of needed like a longer, more severe punishment or whatever.
But pay back the patriarchy.
Yeah. Yeah. A lot of that was just discovery. It happened as I was writing it, and I was like, "Oh yeah, that's definitely staying."
Yeah, that was good, man. I liked it. You guys got anything else for Queen of the Fae?
Going back to what you said about Steve wanted there to be light to create the darkness with. I think with fairy tales, you definitely want them to have like a cautionary. If it's just killing people all the time for no reason, there can't be a cautionary element to it. Because I mean, I know there's the meme of like, oh, like here's the fairy in the German fairy tale going to make Hans Jr.'s balls explode because he didn't eat his vegetables. But
right, yeah,
but like there needs to be like.
I think both of these two stories. Yeah, and both of these two stories that we talked about tonight, they both are the characters who are, I mean, she's kind of the protagonist, but also the antagonist, I guess. She's kind of both.
She's just the antagonist.
Villain,
but yeah, they're both like his villain, the little boy, and they're both somewhat shaped by their environment, by what's happened to them. She's being, attempted to force into all these things, and she responds. She notices that there's a benefit to the way she took care of that problem, so she keeps doing it. Almost gets addicted to the power of it, maybe. But yeah, she still meets that Swallow, and Swallow has does not try to do anything to her and leaves her alone and lets her do her own thing. And that's, I don't know. I'm big on not forcing will upon people. And so there's the cautionary tale, I guess.
Yeah.
One of my favorite quotes from any book is from Simon R. Green's Nightside Tales, and it was monsters. Even monsters can't be monsters all the time.
Mhm.
And I think both the stories that we have here do a really good job of giving the monsters that moment where they're not monstrous, and you can see a little bit of the, I don't want to say human, but a little bit of the good or the light, the compassion in them. That doesn't stop the consequences. That doesn't stop them from being who they are later. And I appreciate that theme running too.
Yeah.
Well, and it's funny you mentioned that the symbol for Onmyo is the yin yang. And and the yin yang is notable because you have the light and the dark, and then both of them have the little dot on each side, because the idea is like there's always a little bit of good in the evil. There's always been a little bit of evil in the good, and I think with something like these twisted fairy tales, you're going to see a lot of that mixture where it's not purely just pure evil, gore porn, but it's also, there's opportunities to show darkness inside of what we've traditionally thought of as, being wholesome and uplifting and cute fairy tales.
100%, dude. Yeah, I think that I'm kind of taking back to your story, like that just like the fact that he hugs the child at the end, and then like the child like surrenders. That was such a powerful ending, dude. Like I feel like Shell's was like a very dark, evil ending, and then yours kind of was like I don't know, a little endearing kind of.
I really have to work at it if I want a nothing. So
on my Amazon page, I write. It says JC writes about heroic characters doing heroic things, and I think part of what makes a character like Takahi so awesome is because I do look for a way to make him be heroic in this really dark, abysmal world. I mean, by rights, he should be, a George R. R. Martin Game of Thrones character who just does terrible things because he can. And I said, no, he's a good person. And why he's a good person? Well, that might be, something I have to delve into in another story someday. But for now, he's a hero, and so I wanted to make this ultimately a heroic tale. No matter how terrible things are, there is a sunset, a sunrise at the end of the story, and that's very intentional.
Yeah, well, I think it kind of speaks to like the concept of like spirituality, because he seems obviously like a very spiritual person, and I think if you not like I don't mean like a religious person, but an actual spiritual person, and I don't think you can be like a spiritual person or being, whatever, and not tend to be like a genuinely good person. I guess it depends on what spirits you're hanging out with, but yeah.
No decrepit monkeys, okay?
Yeah.
There's a witch in the Gingerbread Massacre who is very spiritual, not good. Not good in the slightest.
Yeah. It is written. I love those little "it is written" that he threw in there at the end of the scenes.
Yeah, those are great. I love the biblical references. And like everyone that witch punished kind of deserved it. And I love how he threw in the kind of ad hominem for like, oh, that old girl had the mark of the devil. She goes, oh, that was a mole. And he goes, and she told the truth just this once. It had nothing to do with her.
Yeah. That was a funny part.
Old Robert Johnson's arm is withered. What about that? And he's like, well, truthfully, she did have something to do with that. She wasn't about to tell him.
Yeah, I don't have to read the rest of these stories at a later date, dude. They sound fun.
Yeah, no,
Yeah.
the gingerbread massacre one is great.
So you're gonna JC of you said he's not like he could be a Game of Thrones person, but he wasn't. I would say Thumbelina would probably fit right into a Martin story. Like when she cut the fly's wings off, I was like, I feel like that's something like somebody like Joffrey would do. Like, okay, he probably did. I think he cut some guy's hand off or his tongue out at court. So yeah, it was very brutal. So even though it wasn't like battles and stuff, it was severely brutal.
Yeah, it was very brutal. I mean, it's a serial killer story with a Disney musical number.
That's like that twist of like, okay,
performed by a little sweet-looking girl with a beautiful voice. Yeah, contrast, right? Contrast.
Think for me.
Now let's figure out what happens. 100 years from now or 1,000 years from now. How big does she get?
The whole world is just water except for her little mud hut that she doesn't even fit in.
Now you got to write a story with her in the kaiju anthology next year.
Yeah,
The kaiju.
That would be epic.
You go to sail in, and there's just one giant witch hut. Like on the whole coast, it's one
A
big
fairy
witch hut.
kaiju with fly wings.
Yeah, I'm a scientist in that world. I'm like, yeah, fuck this.
It should not be happening.
And then at some point, she eventually hits critical mass where people are just dying so fast that she just keeps growing, and her growth keeps killing people. And
Yeah. She becomes the black hole.
And that, ladies and gentlemen, is how we get an Eldritch Abomination.
Right.
It eventually becomes the Mad God. Excellent.
Yeah, I think we're onto something here.
What is the name of the being that you fear? Thumbelina.
Oh man.
Yeah, good stuff, man. You guys got anything else? Anything else in the works? As we start with Shell, you got anything else coming out?
Well, a fun story with Jesse. It's Holy Diver Universe. It's a novella, futuristic, sci-fi, dystopian mobster story, which is really fun. I've got 2 novels just waiting for the publishers to put them in print. One is called Dragonsworn. It will come out with Jumpmaster hopefully in December. It's an urban fantasy, military, covert action, kind of with some magic thrown in. I've got one called Resurgence of Life beforehand. It's maybe my one story with true heroes in it. That are not also half bad. It is also urban fantasy. Cultists summon in a bunch of crazy demons and stuff, and everything's wiped out, and these people are sort of the last resistance. Modern warfare mixed with magic. And then I'm also writing for the JTF 13 universe for 3 Ravens. I'm working on a story for them. So that's kind of what I'm doing right now.
Nice. Yeah, dude, I'm a big fan of military fantasy. I've been trying to find. It's like my favorite is we talk about it all the time is Servants of War. So like I'm trying to get like something that's at least that modern or more modern that has like magical warfare in it. So I'm gonna take that out. Dragonsworn, and would you say that was Resurgence of Light?
Resurgence of Light. Yeah, now mine are more like small group things and covert action than large battle kind of things like Larry's. But it's like modern military kind of tactics and magic. So
yeah, it's like what was that? What was the first story? Is it MSR Merlin in Weird Warfare, Jesse?
Yeah,
that's MSR Merlin.
If you dug that one,
opener.
Not to play MSR Merlin. If you dug MSR Merlin, then you definitely need to check out one that Kay and I are both in. It's called A Touch of Aether, and it's an urban fantasy antho. But Kay and I both did military fantasy for the urban fantasy antho, and so they're like almost back to back. And Kay's got a basically what ends up being kind of a magical assassin, and I have a necromantic green beret. So
Nice.
yeah, you'll dig that one, to throw my own little plug in there. But yeah, MSR Merlin was the modern fantasy one, and it's the very first one in Weird Warfare.
And you're what is Helldivers? No, is it your what's your world called again?
Holy Divers.
Oh,
Holy Divers. That's like
Yeah,
a
Holy-
multi-dimensional realm, right? Where you can have stories kind of take place in any.
Yeah, so I want you to imagine if the D&D tavern, so the classic tavern, like all the adventurers walk into the tavern and they meet up and they go do an adventure. I want you to imagine if that tavern touched Anywhere and Anywhen.
Mm-hmm.
So like RoboCop walks in, and then the caveman that figured out how to use magic walks in behind him.
Killer duo, by the way. Uh-oh. Jesse Freeze?
Is that Captain Caveman?
Some character from this
Dr. Cro-Magnon. I think Jesse's freezing on us.
I think I'm back. I hope I'm back.
Okay. Yeah. Your video is a little laggy, but I can hear you just fine.
Yeah, so the point being was that I wanted people to be able to mix and match. I wanted to kind of eliminate genre and instead let you make these really awesome stories, which Kay does a fantastic job of. One Man's Treasure is awesome. It absolutely captured the feel I was looking for.
Thanks,
so
man.
I'm really excited about that.
Sweet, dude. What about you, JC? What else you got going on? I know you're busy with moving and stuff, but
yeah. Well, hopefully, I'm coming to the end of this so that I can actually focus on the writing again. But let's see. So over on Amazon Kindle Unlimited, I've got 3 books in a single volume called Ben Regesh. It's high-flying action fantasy, lots of violence, lots of explosions. It's got some pretty creepy moments too, and it's a very distinct world. I don't think I've read too many quite like it. The way I usually pitch it to people is Full Metal Alchemist meets Mistborn.
That's metal.
And then I've got an ongoing serial over on Royal Road. It's a progression fantasy, more slow burn lit RPG with it actually takes place in the same world as Akumomo. Akumomo actually takes place in a secondary world. Okay. But that's not something I go around spouting too much. It doesn't really matter for Akumomo's purposes. But so it's this Japan-inspired 90s anime, Japan-inspired story, which is basically Yu Yu Hakusho meets Fire Force. It's been a lot of fun to put out. I've got about 70-something thousand words up already, and now that this move is over, I'm going to try to get about 2 to 3 chapters a week going. And then aside from that, I'm hoping I'll be submitting to more Rack Press stuff. This is actually the first time I submitted to a Rack Press anthology. I am much more of a novelist than I am a short story guy. But I'm hoping to submit to at least a couple more in the next few months. And then I'm shopping around at Arthurian space opera, which dares ask the question, what if the scoundrel were the chosen one? So we'll see if or when that comes out. So
nice. Yeah, I definitely like your like the lore of the Akumomo. Like I like how each village has like I guess a god. Is it a god or like a spirit that like is their guardian or whatever?
Yeah, so that's a very real life thing. In Japan, each town, each village will have their own resident kami that like watches over the village. And so that was something I pulled very much from real life. So much of what I use in the story is I try to make it as authentic as I could and be intentional about where I departed from like the real life belief systems. Yeah,
I've become like a really big fan of Oni. One just from D&D, and then reading Monster Hunter Vendetta, Kratos and Bia. I don't know if you guys read that. I'm sure a lot of you guys probably have. But have you read that? Monster Hunter Vendetta?
Yes. Sorry, my brain. It took me a second to be like, Kratos. Is he talking about God of War? No, he's talking about Larry's stuff. Yeah. Oh yeah. Oh yeah. I think I've read up through Agent Franks' story. I think is the one where I left off.
Okay, I'm on Legion right now. I'm listening to. I think I'm on chapter 4, Legion.
Okay.
Is there
But yeah, no,
Y'all
yeah.
got a lot to go.
What?
Got a lot of good stuff to go.
What? I can't hear you. Maybe he's not talking to us.
It's not coming through.
Oh, okay.
But yeah, no, Kratos and Bia were a lot of fun to read. Yeah, having the Oni in there, and Oni are really cool. I don't think there are any Oni in my serial yet, but I do have a lot of fun playing with the concept of demons and yokai, because the word demon is often translated as Oni, but that's actually better translated as ogre than demon. And there actually is a word that more closely translates to the word demon, which is akuma. And so I've had a lot of fun playing with it. I have a lot of fun with the linguistics of Japanese in my ongoing serial. I'm doing a lot of things that I probably wouldn't ever be allowed to get away with a traditional publisher, which is part of why I decided to make it a serial. That, and it is looking like it's going to be obnoxiously long.
Yeah. Sweet, man. Yeah, let's keep an eye out for that stuff. Tyler, did you get a chance to talk about the one you read? I keep forgetting the word kaiju. Boy Who Cried Kaiju. What's that all about?
All right. So it's, in short, my phone's about to die, and I cannot charge it faster than the restream is killing it.
Then it's dying.
So,
Technical issues.
15-second summary. Boy Who Cried Wolf cranked up to 11.
That's Steve's story,
I have a lot
right?
more to say about. Is that Steve's story? If I switch out of this to check, my phone will be dead. I have a lot more to say because I decided to take notes on it, because there is a lot with the Gingerbread Massacre one. Because I was like, it seems like it's perfectly designed to be unnerving.
Yeah.
Between like what's happening to people, like I said, it's got like a cadence where.
Spearman Burke wrote Kaiju.
Yeah, Spearman Burke. So it reads like it should rhyme, but it doesn't, and it's very disconcerting. Like, it's hard to explain. Like, go read it yourself, because it's like you'll see it, you'll hear it in your head. It's got like a rhythm to it, and I don't know who wrote that. 1 second.
The gingerbread one? I can pull it up.
Run as fast as you can. You can't catch me. I'll kick your ass.
Greg Stanfill. Craig Stanfill. All
right, yeah. He must know something about like music or cadence or something, because like with the little spells, with the homoculi song, the happenings in that story, I'm like, yeah, chef's kiss.
Yeah, dude, Rocket Press, they've got like 60 anthos out. So I mean, I've only read one and dipped my toes in a second one, but the two that I've taken a look at, there hasn't been a story that I think there was like one story in Weird Warfare. I was like, it's okay. It's not my favorite, but it's, still decent. I'm loving the Rack Press stuff, dude. You guys, are you able to see, like, are these, I guess it just came out, but like, you guys getting a lot of readers from it? Page reads? I don't know I think they do. I don't know how you get paid.
So they're on PubShare. Allegedly, we can track the page reads and sales and stuff. I haven't looked at those yet. I don't think I've personally seen a bump on my other stuff, but I also haven't been checking, so maybe I have, but I don't think I have.
Yeah.
So far, I've had a few people reach out and say that they really like the story, and that's been very nice for me. I'm very appreciative of the positive feedback and the kind words that people have given me. It makes me feel a little better about myself.
Yeah, I know it hit #1 in new releases for
heck yeah.
horror on, I want to say, Saturday. It hit that. Pretty good. And then Jonna did mention Rack Press Discord that it was having a lot of page reads as well. I didn't check it. I got that orange ticket, which was what was important to me, was that we hit that #1 spot. I only have short stories and anthologies right now, so it's not like I expected people to go out and buy a novel or something after reading my story. And yeah, so I hadn't really looked at other things on PubShare that I have out. 6 stories out now, I think, that are actually purchasable. I did not check them at all, but Grimm was doing quite well. At least it was over the weekend.
Yeah, it's good. That's when I read it. So you got some of my page reads.
Woohoo!
I know whenever someone offers to like send me a book, like an advanced e-copy, when that thing is on KU, I'm like, no, don't do that. I'll just read it on KU with my subscription and give you some page reads.
Nice.
Yeah, my goal, I'm just a tiny YouTuber,
Right,
but my goal would be to like,
my phone is about to die. I'll talk to you.
all right, man. I know it's kind of giving you like a weird robot voice. It's like you're burping.
I think I can watch my power strip actually dropping as I'm on this.
Is it just
watch it moving?
Yeah, I mean the goal is just to get every writer that you like to be able to quit their day job, right? So,
Amen.
try to like send people towards writers that I want to read more of. That's the goal.
I would love to quit my day job, but I have a feeling I'm going to retire normally before that
Ha!
happens.
You have a day job?
That's all right.
You guys are getting paid?
I mean, it's not a bad retirement plan though. Retire and then write.
Yeah, I'm hoping to supplement my retirement income with some novel proceeds. We'll see.
Well, cool, man. It's a little just past 8 o'clock, so we'll probably have to sign off here. But thank you guys for coming on. Thank you, Jesse, for reaching out to them. And
for sure.
Yeah, that was fun. I liked both your guys' stories. They, they're gonna keep me up at night, but it's okay.
My work here is finished.
If I wasn't already afraid of tiny women, it's definitely way worse now.
You gotta watch the tiny ones, man. They're closer to hell.
Well,
Yeah.
If you like the horror stuff, I do have another horror story in a anthology called They Hunt by Night.
They Hunt by Night.
And a military guy. It's a World War II story with a guy who's a Maori tribesman who goes back to his island where he unleashed a curse.
Freaking curses, man.
I know. They'll get you.
Yeah, I'm interested in Dragon Swarm. I'm gonna have to check that out because I really like the
right on. Yeah, I'm hoping that
so.
comes out in December. They're telling me before Christmas.
Sweet.
So hopefully the schedule will stick.
Cool. Jesse, you got any last thoughts for anything for the stories or?
No, I appreciate you, gents. I appreciate your writing. I appreciate you as people. Thanks for coming on.
Yeah.
No, for sure. Thanks for having me.
Yeah.
Same.
Yeah, we also appreciate Cedar Sanderson for her awesome artistic abilities. Dude, they're so cool. But anyway, yeah, I will. I'll see you guys later, and Jesse, we'll see you next Monday for the first reading of Academy of Outcasts by Larry Correia. So I'm pumped for that. It'll be my first progression fantasy. I've never read any progression anything.
When Larry announced that he was doing a progression fantasy, I lost my damn mind. Like I was like, this is such a perfect fit. This is like the way he does guns in MHI is so progression fantasy adjacent that when he said that he was doing an actual progression fantasy, I said, "This is the club."
Yeah.
Order.
Yeah, plus it's Atheon, so it's going to be all on Kindle Unlimited, which I like because most of his stuff is not on KU. So yeah, I'm pumped for that. But anyway, yeah, thanks guys for coming on, and I'll see you guys later.
Later.
All right.
Deuces.
Have a good night.
All right, gentlemen.
Have a good one.